If you run a small business, there's a good chance your marketing feels busier than it should. You're trying things, posting when you can, tweaking bits of the website, thinking about ads, wondering whether you should be doing more on social media, and after a while, it all starts to feel a bit messy. Not because you're lazy, not because you're bad at marketing. It's usually because you've got activity but not enough direction underneath it. That's the bit a lot of small business owners never really get shown. So in this video, I want to help you simplify that and show you where a small business marketing strategy should actually start. So your marketing stops feeling random, starts feeling like it's building towards something good. Hey, I'm Stephen, and I break down marketing in a simple, practical way so you can get better results without overcomplicating things. The first thing I'd say is this: most small businesses do not start with strategy. They start with whatever feels urgent. What should I post? Should I run ads? Do I need to sort the website out? Should I be on LinkedIn? Should I be doing email? Should I be doing more on Instagram? And that makes complete sense because tactics feel like action. They make you feel like you're getting on with it. They give you something to do. The problem is when you start there, marketing gets messy very quickly. You end up trying a bit of this and then a bit of that and then changing direction because somebody online said something different. Then trying to catch up again because something else now feels more important. And before long, you've got movement, but you haven't really got direction. And that's where a lot of small business marketing starts going wrong. From the outside, it can still look like marketing is happening. You've got posts, you've got a website, you might even get the odd inquiry here or there. But underneath it, there's no real shape. It's just activity. And activity on its own is not strategy. So if your marketing has started to feel messy, the first shift is to stop asking, what should I do next? And start asking, what is all of this supposed to be building towards? That is a much better question, because once you answer that properly, a lot of the other decisions start getting easier. And the first place I'd go next is not your content, not your ads and not your website. It's the person you actually want more of. A lot of small businesses stay too broad for too long. They say things like, well, anyone could buy this, or I don't want to narrow it down too much. And I understand why. It feels safer to stay broad. It feels like you're keeping your options open, but in practice, it usually makes your marketing weaker. Because when you're trying to speak to everyone, your message starts losing shape. It gets more general, more cautious, more forgettable. And that makes it much harder for the right person to feel like you're actually for them. So when I say your strategy starts with who you want more of, I'm not talking about creating some big customer avatar document full of fake names and made up hobbies. I mean something much more useful than that. Who is the kind of customer you would actually like more often? Who are you best at helping? Who tends to see the value quickly? Who usually turns out to be a good fit rather than hard work? Who do you get the best results for? And that is where strategy starts becoming useful. Because once you're clearer on who you want more of, your marketing stops trying to cover everything. It starts becoming easier to shape. Your message gets sharper. Your examples get better. Your offers get clearer. Even your channel choices become easier. A lot of marketing becomes exhausting because it's too broad. You're trying to sound relevant to too many people at once. So a really useful question here is, if the next 10 customers could all be the same kind of person, who would you most want them to be? That question tends to clear up a lot because it moves you away from thinking about the market in general and pushes towards the kind of customer your business actually grows well with. And once that becomes clearer, the next thing you need to think about is what you want them to remember you for. Because knowing who you want more of is one thing, being memorable to them is another. This is the bit a lot of businesses skip without realizing that they've skipped it. They're active, they're visible, they're putting things out there, but they haven't really decided what they want to become known for. So their marketing ends up feeling a bit scattered. They're talking about one thing this week, something different the week after, and nothing is really building a strong impression. Now that's a problem, because people don't usually choose a business just because they've seen it a few times. They choose a business because something about it lands clearly enough to stick. So what do you want the right person to associate with you? When somebody comes across your business, what do you want them to think you are especially good at? What kind of problem do you want them to believe you are a strong answer to? And I don't mean this in a vague branding way, I mean it in a practical way. If you're a local business, maybe you want to be known for trust or convenience or quality or a certain type of customer experience. If you're a service business, maybe you want to be known for solving a very particular problem well, or helping a certain kind of client, or doing things in a way that feels clearer and simpler than the alternatives. The point is not to sound clever. The point is to become easier to place in somebody's mind. Because if the right person can't quickly place where your business matters, they're much less likely to remember you when they're ready to act. So one of the most useful things that you can do for your strategy is answer this properly. What do I want to be known for? Not 10 things, not everything, but the main thing. That one answer will make a surprising number of decisions easier. And as you're watching this, you've probably already got a feeling for which bit has been least clear in your business so far. It might be the customer, it might be what you want to be known for, it might be where you're putting your energy. Why don't you let me know in the comments, because that's usually where the next bit of clarity needs to happen. Once those first pieces are stronger, the next question becomes much simpler. Where do you actually need to show up? This is where a lot of small business owners make life harder for themselves than they actually need to, because once marketing feels messy, the temptation is always to do more. More platforms, more posting, more experimenting, more everything. But more channels does not usually create more clarity. It usually just creates more fragmentation. You've probably seen this happen. Maybe it's happened in your own business. There's an Instagram account, there's a Facebook page, a LinkedIn profile, maybe a bit of email, maybe some thoughts on a YouTube channel, maybe ads on top of that as well. And none of it is really strong. Everything exists, but very little is building. That tends to happen when channel choices are being made from pressure rather than strategy. So this is the shift. You do not need to be everywhere. You just need to be in the right places, the places that make sense for the type of customer you want more of, the type of business you run, and the way you can realistically show up well. This is a much better standard to follow, because the best channel is not the one someone online told you to use. It's the one where the right person is most likely to notice you, understand you, and move a little bit closer to action. For some businesses, that might be local search and a strong website. For others, it might be Instagram and email. For some others, LinkedIn might be the obvious choice. And sometimes the smartest thing you can do is focus heavily on one main channel first and get that working properly before you spread yourself too thin. That can feel less exciting, but it usually works better. A focused strategy nearly always beats a scattered one. So if I were making this practical, I'd be asking, if I could only do 1 or 2 channels properly for the next 6 months, which ones would genuinely make the most sense for this business? That question cuts through a lot of noise, because strategy is not really about what is possible, it is about what is useful and realistic. Once you're clearer on who you want more of, what you want to be known for and where you're going to show up, there's one final piece that brings the whole thing together. What do you actually want your marketing to lead someone towards? This is the bit that brings strategy back to business results. Because a marketing strategy is not just there to make you visible. It is there to help the right person move towards a booking, a purchase, an inquiry, a visit, a next step. And this is where a lot of marketing quietly falls short. It creates awareness, it creates activity, it puts the business in front of people, but it does not make the next step clear enough. So the business ends up with attention, but not much momentum. Views, but no inquiries. Traffic, but no sales. Interest, but nothing really moving. That's frustrating because it can make marketing feel like it is doing something while still not helping the business in the way that you need it to. So your strategy needs to answer one more very practical question. What do I want somebody to do after they discover me? That might sound obvious, but a lot of businesses have never really decided. They want marketing to work, but they haven't made the next step clear enough in their own minds. If you run a local business, maybe you want someone to walk in, book, call, or ask a question. If you run a service business, maybe you want them to inquire, join your email list, watch something else, or book a call. Whatever it is, the point is the same. Your marketing should not just make you visible, it should make action easier. Because once the next step is clearer, everything else often gets clearer with it. Your message improves, your website improves, your content improves. It all starts pulling in the same direction. So if your strategy has felt weak up to now, one of the best things you can ask is my marketing just creating awareness, or is it helping the right person move towards something clear? That's a very different standard, and it is usually the point where small business marketing starts becoming much more useful. So, if your marketing has been feeling messy, the answer is probably not to do more. It is usually to get clearer on who you want more of, clearer on what you want to be known for, clearer on where you actually need to show up, and clearer on what you want your marketing to lead someone towards. That is what gives your marketing direction. Not more tactics, not more noise, not trying to be everywhere at once. Just a stronger foundation underneath the things that you do. And when that foundation gets clearer, marketing usually starts to feel a lot less random. And it starts to feel like it is actually building something meaningful. And if content is one of the places where your marketing feels busy but not especially useful, the next video to watch is why your content strategy isn't working. Because that's where I'll break down why content can stay active without helping the business move forward. If you like this video, then consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more marketing videos every week. And I'll see you in the next one.